This is WWE Raw on Netflix January 27, 2025 full show results video which takes place at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Seth Rollins makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he says it's his favorite time of year because it's almost WrestleMania season, which kicks off on Saturday when he wins the Royal Rumble. He talks about starting the year off rough with a loss to CM Punk on the first Raw on Netflix, but he's Seth Rollins and he stands up, and when he's the most focused version of himself, nobody is better than he is. And he decided to start his path to redemption last week when he beat Drew McIntyre, and continues when he tosses them all out at the Royal Rumble. He don't give a damn. John Cena, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns especially is getting tossed out. And in his hopes and dreams, CM Punk is the last guy he eliminates to crush his main event dreams. He puts Gunther over but says he's only holding the World Heavyweight Championship until he decides to go after it again. But Cody Rhodes has the WWE Championship, and wouldn't it be poetic to take the title this year that he helped him win last year? It's a tough decision and he pulls the crowd. Then comes Gunther and asks Seth Rollins where he's been the last few months and says he defended his title against the clown Jey Uso on Saturday and beat his ass. So he thinks Seth should just concentrate on winning the Rumble and not talking about what champion he's going to pick and such. Rollins counters saying that he made this version of the World Heavyweight Championship in all due respect. He's not Jey Uso, Damian Priest. Finn Balor, the ring general, cuts him off and says he knows who he is. He's one of the best wrestlers who's ever stepped foot into this company, won so many accolades and had so many moments, but it's 2025 and he's not the best anymore. Gunther is, and the title around his waist proves it. Gunther tells him to win the Royal Rumble and challenge him, and he'll make him feel the same as everybody else when he looks up the lights and realizes that Gunther is the only name synonymous with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Then comes Logan Paul and he shouts through the boos that Rollins and Gunther command attention by being great at wrestling, but he's great at everything, and WWE needs a new face for the Netflix era. A face oozing with charisma, cool, and confidence, and these Nimrods don't got it and says they've hit their ceiling, but he's still climbing the stairs. He says he's in the Royal Rumble, but he's not gonna dump 29 other guys out. He's gonna work smarter not harder, and enter at 30, and when he wins the Royal Rumble he's gonna main event WrestleMania. He lays out a scenario where he does so and picks Gunther, and the ring general says he changed his mind. He wants Paul to win the Rumble so he can embarrass him at WrestleMania. Seth laughs and says he's with him on that, but it's Gunther that will be embarrassed when he takes his title back. Then CM Punk is interviewed backstage and he says he's planning on winning the Royal Rumble, and Sami Zayn rolls up. He says he wants to talk to Punk face to face about being told he's not on his level, and it's kinda true, they're not on the same level, because only one of them is a WrestleMania main eventer, and he'll see him at the Rumble. The camera follows Sami as he runs into Karrion Kross, and Kross starts talking about Sami not living up to his potential, and Zayn tells him not to start, so he shifts gears and tells him to listen to his friends, listen to Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, and stop thinking with his heart and start thinking with his head and see the world of opportunity as his feet. Karrion leaves and Cody Rhodes rolls up and Sami pats his shoulder and says it's good seeing him. Then we saw a match between Judgment Day versus War Raiders for the WWE World Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was War Raiders defeated Judgment Day by pinfall with War Machine on Dominic Mysterio, retaining the WWE World Tag Team Championship. Backstage, Ludwig Kaiser chats with Pete Dunne, saying somebody should show Penta how things are done around here. New Day roll up seeing friendly faces, but Dunne and Kaiser walk off and an interview rolls up. Kofi Kingston says Atlanta's favorite son has come home, and Kathy Kelly thinks he's talking about Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, and Cody Rhodes in turn, but Xavier Woods says it's him and he's gonna beat the brakes off of Rey Mysterio in front of all of his family tonight. Kingston asks if Woods' folks are here yet, and he says he hasn't heard anything, but he spent too much money on front row tickets for them not to show up. The next match happened between Rey Mysterio versus Xavier Woods, and the result of this match was Rey Mysterio defeated Xavier Woods by pinfall with the slingshot splash. Post-match, Rey goes to hang out with Woods' family and puts on a New Day Sucks shirt. Seth Rollins rolls up on Sami Zayn in the locker room, and Zayn says the kick last week was an accident, and Seth simmers for a long moment and admits he knows it was a mistake, but you gotta understand why he feels like it might not have been, and this alliance he has with Roman Reigns doesn't sit easy with him. Last week was a mistake, but if it happens again he can't be so sure of it. Sami says that's fair and asks if they're good, and Rollins says they are, and they shake on it. Main event Jey Uso makes his entrance, flanked by Quavo. Jey Uso gets on the announce desk and on the mic, and he recounts his loss to Gunther on Saturday and says he's gonna enter the Royal Rumble and win and main event WrestleMania and win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Back from the commercial, Lyra Valkyria is interviewed backstage and she says there's been a lot of talk about who gets to fight her for her title, but first she's declaring for the Royal Rumble. American-made roll-up and Chad Gable tells her to not get used to it because Ivy Nile will be taking it, for the team. Lyra says she's never gonna win it, Ivy says she's gonna win it and then eliminate her in the Royal Rumble. We follow American-made as they run into Alpha Academy and Gable berates them as pathetic failures who should be embarrassed of themselves, and Ivy says Maxine Dupree is the most embarrassing of them all. The next match happened between Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and the result of this match was Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeated Bianca Belair and Naomi by pinfall with a one-arm pin from Liv Morgan on Naomi. Backstage, Rhea Ripley is interviewed and she talks about beating Nia Jax and says it doesn't matter who wins the Royal Rumble because if they pick her she's gonna get brutalized at WrestleMania. Bayley rolls up to say maybe she's gonna win the Rumble and challenge Rhea, to which Ripley wishes her luck and leaves. Bayley turns around and runs into Io Sky, who says she'll see her Saturday. Penta gets a video package where he talks about fighting the best WWE has to over and says he's gonna be in the Royal Rumble. Paul Heyman makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he does his usual introductory shtick and says he's the one behind the one and is pleased to announce that Roman Reigns will be on the cover of WWE 2K25, the video game. He talks about the responsibility of being the cover athlete of a video game and says that Roman has done everything he set out to on his comeback trail and now he's coming back for his title. He drops an ill-advised line about fascist, transphobe, and most divorced man in the universe Elon Musk colonizing Mars and Roman being the top guy there too, and he doesn't care who he's fighting, he's gonna win the Royal Rumble and start the journey. Drew McIntyre makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he says Paul looks nervous but he just wants to talk. They never get to talk and says Heyman should be thanking him as responsible for all the success he's been having, and he's got to admit, and it pains him, but that he's the daddy of the bloodline. He hates it, but he's the catalyst of it all. He won the Royal Rumble in 2020 by eliminating Roman Reigns, he slayed the Beast at WrestleMania and left Paul without a client, but he's the smartest man in the industry and he metaphorically swam back to shore, got in Roman's ear and harnessed all of his talent for evil, and he's just looking for a thank you. Heyman thanks him and says he's crowding him right now and McIntyre gives him his space and apologizes and asks Paul for a favor, since he just did him one. Heyman asks what he wants and Drew tells him to tell his boy that he's going to target him on Saturday, beat him within an inch of his life, and eliminate him. Paulie gives his word that he'll pass the message on to his tribal chief and he goes to leave, but McIntyre stiff-arms him and says he wasn't talking about Roman. Roman knows he's coming, he was talking about his boy CM Punk, and Heyman nods and Drew tells him to run. The next match happened between Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, and the result of this match was Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn by pinfall with a schoolboy pin in his feet on the turnbuckles. Post-match, Drew continues to attack Sami, punching away, and Cody Rhodes makes the save, then he and Drew brawl, duck a lariat, Cody Cutter connects. He kicks Drew out of the ring and Kevin Owens attacks him from behind. Putting boots to him, Rhodes returns punches, stomps in the corner, then McIntyre returns to cut Cody off. Sami wakes up and tries to get involved, and Cody eats a hell of a kick. Owens stands next to his good buddy and pats his chest before leaving the ring. Sami is upset and clutching his forehead. Back from the commercial, American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is down and out in the corner and cuts a promo looking up at the WWE Undisputed Championship title belts suspended from the rafters. He says he's learned it's not about the physical belt, no, what makes you a champion is the mindset and the work, and nobody in WWE has worked more matches than him. He shows up first, he leaves last, and he's so looking forward to finally moving past Kevin Owens and finding out, and then comes CM Punk. He takes a moment and asks Cody if he's alright, and he's really asking as a friend, and he's worried that all of this is starting to get to him. He knows what that belt means, what that title can do to a man. He was champion for 434 days way back when, and somewhere around 300 days he started to get burned out and it turned him into someone he didn't enjoy being. He lost friends because of the title and he sees Cody losing friends and he gets it. He wants to be Bruno Sammartino, he wants to be John Cena, he wants to do it all, but none of them are Superman. Cody says he doesn't have a lot of friends, but CM is one, right? Right? Punk says he's helping partly as a promise he made to Cody's father, and part of it is because he loves him, and he feels like he let him down by not preparing him for this, but his dad couldn't have done it either. He's the man, unequivocally on top of the mountain, and when you're the champion you have no friends. There's a target on your back and everybody's out to get you, and Cody wants to cut through the nonsense and says CM had a prediction for him last year and that prediction had a lot of truth to it, so he asks him as a friend to do it again and tell him what's next. Punk says in the short term, he's in his hometown and he gets to sleep in his own bed tonight, and that's rare in this business, but he bets he's not gonna sleep at all because he's got an early call time and he's gonna be doing promotion for his Royal Rumble match. But maybe not, maybe he gets to be home with his wife and his daughter. But he still won't sleep, because it's the biggest match of his career. And then he's gonna crisscross the country, because if he makes it past Kevin Owens, then there's the next show. There's Raw, and then there's SmackDown, and he's the poster boy, and no matter how thin he's spread, how early the mornings and late the nights, he sacrifices. Less time with his wife and his daughter, empty nights ironically in front of sold-out stadiums chanting his name, little kids in his merchandise, and somebody's gonna bust his ass chasing him, somebody's gonna be in the best shape of his life and they're gonna meet him in the main event of WrestleMania and take that belt from him, and that's the good news, Cody. The bad is, that man is Punk. Unlike all his other friends stabbing him in the back, he's gonna win the Royal Rumble, see him at WrestleMania, and he'll stab him in the front. Rhodes says he respects him telling him that, but he wants to share something with him. When Cody first got into the business, he met Punk and OVW, the only two who wanted to learn arm drags from Greg Gagne, and Punk was the man, everybody was chasing him. Then Punk got called up and won the title and Cody chased him, and then there was 10 years at home, people chanting his name and he was still the man and they were chasing him. But that dynamic has changed, their relationship has changed, because he's not chasing CM anymore. Punk is chasing him and he hopes he wins the Royal Rumble because he wants him to catch up. Rhodes goes to leave and Punk cuts him off and he says lots of men have told him they wanted him to catch them, and there's a whole graveyard of careers of guys who wanted that right up until he did. Punk goes to leave and Cody stops him and he says he's not done, because he wants to see the look on CM Punk's face when he finds out the best in the world isn't the best in the world anymore and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate to this week's Monday Night Raw? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching the video.